guys, and welcome to another week of our Creative Weekly Wisdom. Today in this episode I'm going to be working with some alcohol inks on acetate. And if you weren't aware that you can alcohol and acetate just like any other slick surface that's non-porous, this is going to be really fun, so I can't wait for you guys to play along. And I will be sharing a few tips along the way and a full card once we do the background with the alcohol inks. I'm probably not going to end up using all of these colors because that's a lot, but I am going to do this whole acetate piece, but I won't be using the whole thing on my card, and I'll save it later for a future card. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to get started. I'm using just some regular alcohol inks and one pearl alcohol ink. The pearl will just give it just a slight pearlization, but not a ton. And then I will be also using some alcohol blending solution. If you're new to alcohol inks, this here also comes in like a giant bottle. I just have this tiny one, so I figured I would use it up. And what this is when you put this down, it reacts with the alcohol inks and it makes it move around, so that way you can play with the alcohol inks in your background and move the color around more before it fully dries. This stuff is amazing. Also, you can also clean off some of the acetate with this. You can also use rubbing alcohol, but I think for the background, for moving stuff around, you really want your alcohol blending solution. There are like tons and tons of techniques and things. I'm just going to show you some of the basic things to use on acetate, and in future videos I'll come back with some more techniques to do. I do wanted to show you, this is what I was playing with earlier. So this is kind of the look we're going for, is like this fall look. This is the top side. This is where you apply your alcohol inks, but when you flip it over, you can see it looks a little like smoother, a little more polished. And that's because you don't have all like your really deep dark texture that you got from alcohol inking. And I do want to apologize for the lights and the glare, but we are working with, you know, like acetate plastic here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this one. And this one I am going to add in a little bit of pearl, some fun fall-like colors, but not extremely fall. It's kind of what I'm going for. And then to move the color around, we're going to use this tool. This is by Tim Holtz and Ranger. I believe it's Ranger. I'll have it in the description box below. But this is to move the color around. Of course, you can use a straw, which I have in the past, but I find this a lot easier than using a straw. If you blow the color around with a straw, you have to really get down in there with your head, and I just find it a little harder and more uncomfortable. And this one, you don't have to worry about any of that. And this is nice too because you can really get at different angles, where a straw is a little harder. But if you don't want this, the straw is a good option, a good substitute. Okay, so I'm just gonna start throwing down color. If you wanted it to be more of a pastel, you would put your alcohol ink solution first and then the color, and then it'll really spread out. I'll show you a little bit that on maybe the side over here. But for right now, we're just going to put down the colors, and so it's going to be more bold. That's kind of what I'm going for today. I'm going to go ahead and start out with a couple of my base colors here, and that's these two shades of green. One's dark, one's lighter. Well, it's not really light, but it's lighter. And I'm just going to kind of just place it down wherever, instead of, you can be more specific, but I do want it a lot down. So I'm just going to kind of, and you can see it's moving around because it's on plastic. So it does really like to move, but it does dry fairly quickly. I did notice that too. So you don't want to take too long moving your stuff around. So I'm going to go ahead and at this point add this before I start adding more colors, so because I don't want this to dry. But you can see how beautiful this moves around. So I'm going to go ahead and play some music at this point and just kind of let you watch what I'm doing. Now when you're using mixatives or pearls, you really want to shake them up because they have other ingredients in them and they're not just purely liquid. You know, like they have like the little, you can hear that ball. You want to make sure that ball is really going. And then for the pearls and mixatives and alloys, you don't want to use a ton. A little bit does go really far. So I'm going to go ahead and keep going here. I'm just going to just a little bit all the way around so you kind of get it everywhere. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in my little pink. Now this one is really bright, so you kind of want to use it a little bit sparingly if you don't want super bolds. Now you can tell as I'm doing this they're layering because they're drying a little bit in between. Plus with this tool here it adds the air, so it helps it move around, but also if you do it straight up and a little farther away, about a foot or so, you're going to really start to dry everything if that's where you want it to be. Now you can see how bright that is. I'm going to add the alcohol blending solution, and once we move it around it should lighten up quite a bit. Okay, as you can see, it's just a lot of moving stuff around and playing. Now this might look a little crazy, but once it dries, and it won't take too long to dry because it is alcohol ink. Like I said, if you like it, you can just squirt some air. Because this is not heat resistant acetate, you do not want to use the heat tool to dry this. Let it air dry, or use your little squeezy tool that you have right here, your little air tool. Okay, I'm not going to set down the paper because it's still a little wet, but you can see the difference. You can see it looks a little bit more splotchy and crazy light, but then when you turn it over, you've got this really cool background. And the thing about this is that when you start die cutting out of it or making it like a card, it looks even cooler because you're kind of just picking the areas that you want in a certain shape. Now if you want, you can go ahead and keep layering this up as much as you'd like. Like I have like these circles here. If you didn't want the circles, you can go ahead and you can add some more blending solution, which I might do just so they're not so circular in some of these dark areas as well. But see, you can see how it pulls up the color. You can just keep playing with this until you get what you like. So there's that I've played around with it enough. I'm happy with the kind of dark fall look that this has got. But over here in the corner, I just want to show you, if you put down alcohol ink first, so let's just put down a generous amount, and then when I drop a color into it, you'll see how it just really likes to spread. So I'm going to go ahead with this green metal that we've been using. And you can just see how it kind of lightens up just a tad. Maybe not so much in the camera, but you can spread it a lot easier. It thins out a lot more when you put the alcohol ink down first. So you can tell the big difference between that and this. When you lay down your ink first and not the alcohol solution, then you're going to get a more bold color. But if you're going for the light, you can use your same colored alcohol inks. You saw me use these greens all over, and you can see how some of these how dark these are versus this. And it does take a little longer to dry too if you're using the solution, because you've got a lot more solution than you do alcohol ink. But I do like it. I like how nice and light. I'm going to go ahead and finish up that area so I'll be able to use it later. Okay, so when you turn it over, you're going to get that much lighter look, and then you have this one, which I did go a little crazy, with my colors. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and take my dies here. This is from the Mama Elephant foliage frame, and it does come with some flowers and stems and even little berries, and then it comes with leaves and then this leaf frame. So I positioned this kind of where I think I want it, and then I'm going to go ahead and tape it down, and then I'm going to actually cut out the acetate so it fits into my die cut machine, and I still will have some left over for a future project. It's always good to keep these little scraps and bits for when you want to create a quick project for whatever reason. And it's really nice to be able to have the backgrounds already done. So I'm going to just take this with some of this 3M like medical Mecker pour tape. And the side that I put the alcohol ink on is the side that is facing this paper. It's facing the bottom. So this side is the slick, clean side, and that's the side that's actually going to be your top. So I have some of this really cool stick-it adhesive. This is good for when you're die cutting intricate things, and if you don't want to have to add glue to it, you just put this adhesive before you die cut on the back of your, whatever you're die cutting out of, back of your paper or acetate. It's a really good adhesive. It's made to actually go through your die cut machine. So I really love this stuff. It's called Stick It by Ken Oliver. So for this, you have this already peeled area, like these cut pieces already. Oh, actually I have two on my hand. This is the side that you're gonna peel up to stick it on the reverse part of whatever you're die cutting. So I'm gonna go ahead and, let's see here, I'll probably need, let's just roughly cut. Okay, so my camera cut out, I'm not sure how much, what was recorded, what wasn't, but I go ahead and took the same die cut I used on this, and I cut out some white cardstock, and then I went ahead and also de-stressed just a little bit to feather inwards, but still keeping some white space in the center just to give it some depth. And then again, I don't know where it cut out, so on this one it actually cuts out like this from that Mama Elephant die. It does not cut out the center. So I went ahead and I took this My Favorite Things die here. It also has the little stitch edge, and I just cut out that center part. That way I can use that center part on a future project. And I kind of wanted it not to be just one solid color all the way on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead now and adhere this to here. If you remember earlier, I put that stick it on the back. I just went ahead and peeled off that little outer layer, and it's like super thin. I just went ahead and just peeled that off. So now I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, and then I'll continue making this card, so you guys just relax and listen to the music. The finished card example, and I hope you enjoyed playing along with me. I hope you do give this a try. Alcohol inking on acetate is really fun, and remember, alcohol inking in general is kind of an anything goes process, so you're not going to really mess it up. If you don't like it, add a little bit more, take away some, and the basics is just finding your color palette before you start. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.